What nuts, Humpty Dump Nuts, and Four Nations Nuts. It is a lovely Thursday in the United States and Canada, December 5th specifically, in the year 2024. This is a show called What Chaos, and it's presented by a wonderful presenting sponsor called Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WhatChaos. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks. Run your game. Wrapping up a trash week, I would say, of slates, but a really busy week of What Chaos and of hockey. Loaded show today. My name is DJ Bean. Peter Blackburn sits just over there. And over there is our guy, Sean DePaz, fresh off 3 shows and a stream the last 3 days. We doubled up yesterday, did a Four Nations stream, and it was an absolute hit. Boys, how'd you feel about it, Pete?
Felt pretty good. I think that the Four Nations rosters weren't as dramatic. Like, the reveal wasn't as dramatic. We kind of got a really good idea of what they were going to look like. And so we just talked about it. It was nice.
Stream energies are always different too. It does, like, I like doing this because it feels like it's a show, but it's a very weird version of a show, and it's a show that like involves the 3 of us. 3 of us are a bad choice for like a show. So I love doing that. When it's a stream, the 3 of us make more sense. Just be like kind of hanging out and dicking around.
I feel like if we put our minds to it, I don't want to make it sound like it would be hard, but I feel like if we were like tasked with putting on a studio show, we could do that very well.
We do I would be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
What do you think that we do?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're trying to do.
I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, what are you doing, like, outside of this? Or
no, I mean,
like
what
right
do you
now.
think?
No, I mean like an NBC Sports, like in suits behind a desk kind of thing. Like, I feel like we could do that well as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the product of being around and doing shows and.
Right.
I'm more of like the get up head than Pete is, but for whatever, like, I'm obsessed with shows.
I will say, like, I've never been there, but watching shows and watching intermission reports and things like that, my interest level in it and the things that I pay attention to way higher since doing this show, where it's like, I wish that they would do this, or like we could do something similar to that and take and borrow.
Brother, I get it watching movies. I'll get it now where I'm just like, they should move in slowly on the. Oh yeah,
it gives me the itch a
good
little
director
bit. As like a broadcast major and stuff like that, who had thoughts of being in front of the camera at one point. It gives me the itch.
Chat says only issue with that is that you guys would have to be on time. Well, that, and also we'd have to like keep time, and we'd have to like.
But that's kind of what I'm saying. I feel like if we were forced to have a structure, we would. Like, I feel like the reason we're not always on time is because we don't really have to be. It's not like we're showing up 5 minutes after the fact. I mean, like, if we had to be here, I mean, you saw it in the playoffs when we had 11:59 shows.
That's right. We were hitting 11:59. We do have a big show today, so Pete, why don't you tell the folks what we're doing?
I would love to. Today on What Chaos, butter emails. Oh yeah, because I leaked DJ's email. Okay, Four Nations here. We're going to talk about the rosters. We also will have Sean McIndoe on the Four Nations face-off, and the surprisingly awesome Toronto Maple Leafs. Pains me to say it deep in my soul, but the Maple Leafs, good and cool.
I reported that last week.
Just saying, got Yankees written all over them.
Oh,
let them get to the Stanley Cup final. See what happens.
No, don't.
You're telling me that it wouldn't be awesome to watch them lose in the Stanley Cup final?
It would.
I know it would come at the cost of our teams. But I'm just saying.
Come at the cost of our teams, come at the cost of a lot of jokes about like them never being able to even approach it.
We would be in the building for game 4. I can promise you that.
For the sweep?
Yes. For like the, oh my God, what happened here?
And finally, we're going Grinch mode. There was a suspension in the OHL for a guy who went Grinch mode during a teddy bear toss, and we have to talk about it. I have a lot of thoughts.
I have so many. I'm so fascinated by this sort of thing. That's also just like, that's like a vintage Pete Blackburn thing. Like if that happened in 2012, I'd be finding out about it from your Twitter. And I don't know if we really knew each other yet, but like you would have gotten like a month out of that.
Oh yeah,
you would have been the Grinch.
I might
guy.
Still,
and you are.
Still might.
You brought to the people really the news was out there, but like you got the video and you put it out there. It blew up. Amazing stuff. To wrap up Grab Ass, and this will be kind of the first topic of like the but her emails thing. Yesterday, famously, Pete leaked my email address. I respect everybody who either sent a nice email, or I especially respect these people, did not send an email. Shout out to the people in the chat yesterday. It was only one person who was like, don't actually send him emails.
I was thinking about it. I do feel guilty, and I do feel bad that you were put in the line of fire there. However, relative to things that can be leaked, leaking somebody's email is very low on the like, oops scale.
Yes, I agree with that. Well, what would be worse? I mean, you don't know my social security number.
No, but like your address, your phone number.
Yeah.
Like
changing the phone number would be obviously like the address has like the most like
danger.
Yeah. Danger.
Yeah, but that like DJ could be like, yeah, come kill me.
I mean,
knowing
where
he stands most times.
No,
like, oops, I leaked my own address. It'd be a shame if somebody came and killed me.
I remember, this is so dark, but when I was a kid, I was like, I'm never gonna like do that. But sometimes I wish a stranger would just come and just like
take it off your plate,
take me out.
Yeah,
just be, yeah.
It's really dark.
Just
you were right. Very dark.
I was in therapy from a very young age. So, of all the emails I got, I really liked one exchange with a guy called Ari, I believe, who was just like, "Hey, man, let's talk for a minute." And I was like, "Okay, Ari." We went back and forth. That was very nice.
That's what I would do if like a celebrity that I cared about leaked their email. I mean, I probably wouldn't, because I know that millions of people would be emailing them and they would never see it. But like, I would just be like, "How's it going, man?" Like,
you would say like, "Thank you for the music."
Like if I saw like Josh Allen or something, I'd just be like, "You're cool, man."
Ooh.
I just like, how's life? How's it going?
Incredible behavior from Erik Ripperson. If Pete leaked DJ's address, we would just all Grubhub chicken tenders to his place.
Oh, lovely.
You can leak my my Venmo if you want.
Yeah. Sean, by the way, I drive by that Cane's near us.
It's not crazy.
Oh, it is? Oh, I've never seen it not flooded.
Really? I've seen it a couple of times. I guess it depends on, you can get it. Yeah, like I guess I'm probably there at like random times, but I've seen it not be crazy. It rocks.
Have you gone there yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Love that for you. The one thing I want to share while saying that emailing DJ time is over. I appreciated some of the things I got.
Statute of limitations.
I don't appreciate anything that I get from here on out. I don't want, and I'll be like, "Hey, I asked you not to do that." That sounds very Chapel Roney, but you know what I mean. This is the best thing I got, which is somebody just sent a video and said, "Don't worry, it's not a virus."
Was it Richard Head?
No, it was a man called Michael.
Okay.
And they were clearly a brunch fan, but clearly a What Chaos fan. They sent this video that I edited down, and this is my favorite weird thing that I got sent to my email yesterday.
What up, DJ? It's your favorite Humpty Dump Nut, WTG Paul. Just wanted to let you know that I love you. I'm sorry Pete leaked your email, but I had to seize the opportunity and just let you know I appreciate the What Chaos pod. I appreciate all the hard work you guys put into it. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Marble shirt.
Because I've been listening since the Listen to Brunch days, talking about tomato fights and everything. And I'll be honest, for a while there, I was losing the love of hockey because other podcasts that I won't name, because that's just tacky and a bad look.
Don't look.
They just weren't doing it for me. And then you guys came around, and man, the effort you guys put in, the fun you guys have, freaking love it. So just want to say, keep up the good work. If there's one thing I could tell you, You guys need to talk about the Blues more. Ever since we fired Bannister and hired Montgomery, smells like 2019 all over again, huh?
Oh, fuck
what do you think, Ryan?
Fuck
yeah,
off.
That's signed. Not like I didn't get it signed from it. I bought it signed, so he probably signed like 1,000. It's not a big deal. But yeah, we're the assholes. You guys called it in the beginning of the year. We're the asshole team. That's our identity. We got Bennington leading the asshole train. We're running it back.
This guy yaps endearing.
Love you guys. I don't really know how to end this, so I think I'm going to end it like your guys' overtime streams and just cut.
Nice.
That rocked. The ending rock.
Outstanding. The whole time I was just rewatch. I only watched it once, but watching that back, I was like, a person emailed that to me.
Yeah, do they have to buy more like storage on Gmail to send a file that size?
Oh, it was. That's the thing. Like, it wasn't. I couldn't see it in the preview. It was just like a what's it called? Google Drive thing.
Yeah.
It was like you gotta take a leap of faith.
Too long
here.
to be an attachment.
I'm like, someone's not sending me a virus. I hope. And again, if they do, just whatever. My email's already out there. Pete put me on the dark web. I'm fucked no matter what. But that was a good video. That was my favorite thing that I got. Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. We will lightly pull derogatorily for the St. Louis Blues for you.
Fuck, we will.
Last thing I want to say on the Blues thing. Somebody commented strongly agreeing with you on when we were doing Eurocheck stuff.
Yeah.
Of like, I think that would be more appropriate of a package to give up for Broberg. And it was clearly a Wild fan. And they were like, thinking Broberg is more valuable than Jiricek. I will double down on that. Insane that anybody would rather have Jiricek than Broberg, although Broberg is dead right now.
Well, I mean, the question is like, what do you want Broberg for? Like, what's the window that you want each player for?
Yeah.
Do you want Broberg to make a run this year? Then yeah, Broberg's a better player to have. Jiricek, I would rather have in the long run. One thing that we didn't mention, by the way, in that conversation is that like the Wild kind of can't and shouldn't go for it this year because this is the final year of the dead cap, $14 million.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So like it doesn't really make sense for them to operate within a window of this year contending.
That's a good point. And there's something good about being bridgy, which is like making the playoffs, being even a top-ish team. This happened in basketball. Jim Murray coined the term the bridgy Celtics, where it was like Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley and a bunch of guys who you're like, hell yeah, this group is making the playoffs. And they know how to play together. They know how to win together. They will get to the LeBron Cavs and lose in 5 games because they're just not made for that. The Wild can be a team right now that finishes first or second in the Central, wins a round
or two, yeah,
goes out, hits
and you feel good
the offseason, and you're like, the Wild have arrived.
Yeah.
So this is maybe just their arriving year.
Yeah, and I do respect a general manager that looks at their team and doesn't change the approach based off of like a month or two of success.
Yeah.
Who isn't like, all right, wow, this is better than I expected. I guess we've arrived. Let's go for it and change. Because like I feel like a lot of the times that ends up backfiring on a general manager who doesn't really have the self-awareness or the self-evaluation to honestly look at their team and not overreact to like 1 or 2 months.
Yeah. Let's talk about constant contact and let's talk about goals, because we set goals for our businesses. We all do. We make little benchmarks that we want to hit with the show. And if you're not subscribed to our show, please subscribe. Our goal and benchmark is you be subscribed to our show everywhere on the podcast, giving us 5 stars, because we still never really recovered from when the libs tried to tank our ratings, whatever app it was on. I think it was on Spotify, right?
I believe so.
We have a confusingly low Spotify rating. We're like 4.6. 4.7.
Yeah.
When you see that, you're like, what happened here?
Also, if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us those 5 stars and those reviews too. Those have not been pouring in. I think people only do it if you ask for it. So
yeah,
it would be nice to get some new ones of those as long as they're 5 stars.
Famously, that is the best time for us to do a call to action with people for our own purposes is while doing an ad read of another company, which our viewers don't skip ad reads. We've got the numbers. They're good. People stay because they know that we're going to say some things. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a laugh.
You also can't skip an ad read when it's live.
That's true. Let's talk about goals for a minute. We set them for our businesses. Make little marks and benchmarks we want to hit with our show. What if I were to tell you there was an easy service that helps you meet your goals faster? You got me? That might be something you might be interested in. Thinking about that? Enter Constant Contact, our friends who help small businesses with digital marketing solutions to grow their brands. No matter how experienced you are with digital marketing, Constant Contact has the tools to make your marketing run smoother. You can sell more, raise more, build more genuine relationships with your audience with Constant Contact's suite of digital marketing tools, all made to fast track your success. You can own the smartphone. You can own it by texting your marketing strategy. A lot of people, they pay a monthly fee. They rent their phones.
I was going to say, when you first said that, I was like, who doesn't own their phone? And I was like, I don't own my phone.
I don't own my phone.
I don't think it makes sense to own a phone.
I'm still, I
agree. Here's the thing. Let's talk about goals for a minute. With Constant Contact, you can own the smartphone by adding texting to your marketing strategy. So even if you rent your smartphone, you own the Royal smartphone. You own it. It's yours. You want to smash it like Tom Brady? I'm not going to tell you what to do with your smartphone. You own it. So join the thousands of businesses and millions of people who trust Constant Contact with their marketing success. It's time to put the go in your business goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to constantcontact.com/allcity and start your free trial today. Go to constantcontact.com/allcity for your free trial.
Hey, do you like sharp edges on your skates?
Yes.
Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
I am.
Could I maybe grease your wheels a little bit? And
Pete, you've got me hook, line, and sinker right now.
All right. Well, that's great because the Pro Sharp Bauer Advanced Edge Skate Sharpener is perfect for all hockey players, families, and teams.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You better believe it, buddy.
Okay.
This sharpener is fully automated and it's extremely easy to use. As long as you've got power, you are ready to go. Perfect edges anytime, anywhere. Once again, you have to have an outlet. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Yeah. No, I would be interested in that.
What about if you're a goalie? Are you worried about whether it's inclusive to you?
Gee, wait.
Don't worry.
Edge work with goalies is very important.
Exactly. And with built-in goalie skate mode, even your tendy can stay sharp.
This thing goes goalie skate mode?
That's right. To learn more about the Pro Sharp Bauer Advanced Edge Skate Sharpener or to see where you can find it in stores, head to bauer.com/ProSharp.
Oh my God. I think I got to get that. I'm still thinking, by the way, haven't done it yet, but I'm still thinking about hiring a personal hockey coach to give me a good slap shot before I turn 100. I want to do it before I turn 35. Way too late for that now, but maybe at some point this year, I will finally have a good slap shot. I'm excited to hit the ice, skating.
I like the new bit that's going on with the chat is that during ad reads, they're just hammering the chat with, how do I skip this?
No, it's mostly positive. There is some, someone said, all I know is DJ is very interested. Very, whoa. All right, people like that. And Sean, did you put up the squirrel graphic thing?
There it is.
Check it out. Yeah, if you subscribe, Pete does a squirrel costume at 10,000 subscribers. Very exciting. We need it. Look at Pete's fun little face. 4 Nation rosters were revealed yesterday. We talked about it on the stream, but we want to get in the weeds and really hammer through 4 questions for this 4 Nations tournament. And to do that, let's bring in our friend, famous Canadian, and senior writer for The Athletic. It's the great Sean McIndoe. Sean, how are you, man?
Famous Canadian?
I think so.
Look at that. It's right.
I got bad news for you guys.
Your name?
Who's this clean-shaven guy on the screen? What is this? Oh my God, maybe that guy's famous.
I like Stub McIndoe. I like the little stubble you got going on.
This is given up McIndoe right here.
Is it your
or am I working on a 4 Nations beard for? That's what I was gonna say.
That's what I was going to say. Whenever the tournament is.
February, whenever the tournament is?
Is it your?
Whenever the tournament is. That's what I was gonna say. February, whenever the tournament is. That's what I was gonna say.
That's what I was going to say.
February, I guess.
Famously, it's Wednesday, February 12th through Thursday, February 20th. You know this.
Famously, yeah. So here's my question: why are we doing the rosters 2 months before?
You think you should do it like the night before?
Yes, absolutely.
Live reveal.
That's very Christmassy. We can open
live reveal.
Oh, I love that.
Live reveal would be incredible. Just introducing the rosters as they enter the ice.
You do it, what's my guy's name? Robert Downey Jr. style. Remember at the Comic-Con thing? You would know this before I would know this. Yeah. He takes off his mask and everyone's like,
Dr. Doom.
It's Erik it's Erik Karlsson. God damn it, this team's going to lose.
Doing it like WWE style where each player has like an entrance would be unbelievable.
Do you remember at the, when was it where there was like a Winter Classic and they announced the rosters for some tournament? I think it was the Olympics. Maybe it was the World Cup.
It was the 2010 Winter Classic because the big part of it was like, and Tim Thomas is going to be on Team USA. And we were all like, why wouldn't he?
But do you remember like they brought like there were players who had played in the game that like came back out. And I want to say it was James Van Mierijk. Maybe Phil Kessel.
So this was the
and
Bruins
they came down and it was like a wrestling entrance. Like they were like coming back down and there was like weird music playing and everything. I think we should do it like we used to do it in the Canada Cup days where instead of having like a list and then you just submit it, they would get like 30 guys to come to a training camp and then they would cut guys. Like Mike Keenan would knock on Steve Yzerman's door at 6 a.m. and be like, get out. You didn't make the team. I think that's what we need to bring back. And if that means that we cancel vacations for a bunch of guys for my own entertainment, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Oh, the videos that would come out of guys having to cancel their Airbnbs, like that's become my new favorite NHL trend is when guys make the All-Star team and they're like, I can't go to Aruba. Fuck. But counter to your argument, like, why aren't we doing this later or closer to the tournament? I don't think I could put up with another week of projected rosters.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I might be saying that on behalf of a certain country. I'm not going to say which one, but that maybe needs another 2 months to find a goaltender. That
get a passport or something.
Could be somebody. Maybe work some passports.
Okay, so we want to do.
You got to be able to.
We have some kind of broad topics that we want to hit for the Four Nations rosters. And Sean, if you could throw up the Canada roster. Right now. One of them you just hit on, which is, as you look at the Canadian goaltenders, Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, and Sam Montembeault, is goaltending an actual problem for Canada? And part of that is also, who do you think ends up being the starter in the end?
Yes, it is a problem. And I say this as a guy who, if you had asked me even in the summer, I would have said people are making too big a deal out of the goaltending gap. Because you get 20, 25, 30 games in the season, somebody will emerge. Some Canadian goalie, maybe a guy we're not even thinking of, will be fantastic. He'll be in the Vezina conversation, and then that's your starter. You only need one. It'll be fine. It'll work itself out. And we're 25 games into the season, and it has not worked itself out to the point where Sam Montembeault's on this team. That's not a good sign.
Sam Montembeault's their best goalie this season, though.
By the numbers.
No, by the numbers, just by watching Canadians games. And granted, to be the best goalie of these three right now is you watch them and you say, well, that guy's not the problem. That is enough. Yep. And by the numbers, his numbers should be way worse than, and I love this guy, friend of the show, his numbers should be so much worse than Aiden Hill's. Aiden Hill is playing on the Vegas Golden Knights. Right. The Vegas Golden Knights should have the puck the whole time. The Vegas Golden Knights have two awesome defensemen playing, like at least two awesome defensemen. So,
here's the thing that I'm curious about. Because of the goaltending situation, do you think that Canada made other roster decisions to protect goaltending? Like, are there guys on Canada's roster that would not be in that uniform come Four Nations if they had a good goaltender?
It does look like they went with more of an emphasis on defense than you would expect. And then a lot of us expected based on those million rosters that we were all projecting out there. There's not as much offensive talent here. And yeah, maybe that's a case of compensating for the goaltending. Now, the flip side of that is you look at it and you go, man, we don't have Patrick Waugh. We don't have Martin Brodeur. We don't even have Curtis Joseph. We're going to get scored on. We're going to give up a couple of goals a game. So we got to get 3 to win. Who's going to get the 3 for us? And that's where you start to get a little worried when you look at the Team Canada roster. The Team Canada roster, and this is something that we've seen over the decades from the groups that put these teams together. It looks like a team that is designed to protect a 2-1 lead or a 3-2 lead with 10 minutes left in the third period. That always seems to be like the prototype of Canadian hockey. Who's going to block the shot? Who's going to clear it out? Who's going to cross-check a guy in front of the net to clear it out? And that's great if you're winning 3-2 with 10 minutes left. What if you're down a goal? That's going to be the question with Canada. And obviously that's a balance that you're always trying to figure out. But man, you look at this team and it's not quite there, but it feels a little bit shades of like 98 and the dreaded ghost roster and, Rob Zamner and making it over Mark Messier and all that stuff, where maybe you overthink it a little bit. And obviously that 98 team ended up running into Dominic Hasek and couldn't score. And the 6 grinders in the bottom 6 didn't help when they needed that 1 goal. Now, thankfully, Dominic Hasek isn't in this tournament, at least, prime 1998 Dominic Hasek. But Team USA's got 3 guys who are maybe pretty close. And that worries me, is that we're going to wind up in a situation where Canada doesn't win the tournament and we're looking back going, yeah, well, they couldn't score because they left all these offensive guys at home.
1, Dominic Hasek is in this tournament. His name is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. You can find him on the Finland roster. Let's see if he starts. Maybe. 2, I'm an Oilers fan. We're an Oilers heavy show, so we have Oilers people who interact with us. And one of the cries that we were getting, I say cry as a matter of fact, not to insult anybody, but one of the cries that we were getting was, how did Evan Bouchard not make this team? And all 3 of us were like,
the answer's pretty obvious.
Feel like you can't have Evan Bouchard on this team, not because it's no shot at Evan Bouchard, but just his style of play. You can't have oopsie daisies on the back end when you have oopsie daisies in net. It's just, you're forced to do that. So
you also
to answer
have
Pete's questions, you can have one of those guys, I think. So I think their roster construction defensively is, like, I agree with that strategy, I guess.
And it's also, you mentioned USA and like how they are benefiting from the goaltending, but they also have some decisions that they made on the back end, seemingly for the bottom 6. Like, you leave off Tage Thompson, you leave off Cole Caulfield. Like, do you think that there's potential that they regret that, or would you have made the same decision based off of just the roles that those players are going to play?
That's question number 2, but though, by the way, of the big 4, will USA regret veterans over talent?
I mean, both teams, you can really tell that there was heavy coach input. Like, these are coaching decisions. The coach is the guy who says, no, I want Colton Parayko over Evan Bouchard because I feel safer with him. And then the coach is the guy who says, no, I don't want Cole Caulfield, even though he's close to leading the league in goals. I want somebody who's big and defensively reliable and all of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, could Team USA regret it? Absolutely. I mean, we're all kind of like, this tournament is sort of set up to get a USA Canada final, and fingers crossed that's what we get. Apologies to Sweden and Finland, but I mean, it's a North American tournament. This is the big game that they're looking for. And maybe we get that game, and maybe it's Canada-Russia 87 and we get a 6-5 classic. But the chances are these 2 teams meet, it's going to be 2-1. And whichever team loses is going to get hammered for not having enough offense, for leaving those offensive guys at home. And whichever team wins the 2-1 game, even if the winning goal just bounces off a skate or something, we'll all cheer them and say, you guys found the perfect balance. You did it exactly right.
Yeah,
that's the nature of hockey, right? I mean, we wait and see how the game turns out, and then suddenly we're all geniuses.
You have beautifully kind of connected the dots here to find what the discourse is going to be, because you are right. In both of these cases, in Canada's case, defensively, they chose safe over going for it. Definitely offensively for the Americans, they went safe over going for it. Such an easy one, though, is going to be Caulfield and Tage Thompson. Being like, how do you, and I get like some of the guys they picked, some of the veterans had a little more size, but like, who's got more size than Tage Thompson? That
Also,
I think is just kind of punishing streakiness. You also mentioned
pressure's on Brock Nelson to win like every faceoff he takes.
Oh yeah, great point. You also mentioned Jason Robertson yesterday.
Yeah, I have very little problem with.
I have no problem with it, but just not having that good a scorer. But if they're streaky, I mentioned it yesterday on our stream. If you watch the Olympics, Team USA basketball, Jason Tatum showed up. He was a little cold, and they were like, we're not going to take the time to figure that out. You're just not going to play this tournament. And that's what would happen to a Jason Robertson or maybe even a Tage Thompson, more in the case of Robertson than Thompson. But yeah, this when these teams lose, as you said, we know what we're going to be saying.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just tell you, as a Team Canada homer, I'm more worried about Jason Robertson or Cole Caulfield or Tage Thompson than I am about Brock Nelson. You know, I'm not sitting there going like, oh no, Brock Nelson's on the ice now. Maybe I am when he helps shut down Connor McDavid. You know, there's everything we say about this has some serious like get it fed back to us in late February potential. But I mean, those are guys, and look, some of these guys also played themselves off the roster. You know, we all thought Evan Bouchard was going to make the Team Canada in the summer because we figured he would take another step forward, and instead it feels like it's been a bit of a step back. But it's like a weird mix because they always tell us like we're going to take the guys who earn it, the guys who play themselves onto the team, and then you look at a guy like Cole Caulfield. It's been fantastic this year. I mean, if he didn't play himself onto the team, was there really that opportunity, or was this a case where 90% of the roster was already done in the summer and you're just plugging guys in who are healthy?
I'll tell you what, on McDavid, I'm not looking at USA. I'm not worried about USA taking Connor McDavid out of this tournament. If anybody takes Connor McDavid out of this tournament, I think it's Sweden.
Because of their defense?
Because of the defense that they have. Just, I mean, like Anderson, Forsling, who's already done it.
Yeah, I mean, their defensive group is awesome.
Ekholm, who knows him.
I mean, off that defensive group, though, do you feel as weird as I do that we're in a place where, like, you see Erik Karlsson on the Swedish national team and you're like, is he going to play?
That's question 3.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because, I mean, he was one of the guys that was named to the team originally, and I don't think at the time it was that controversial. If he hadn't been, you wonder if like we would have had a really interesting discussion in the weeks leading up to this about like, is Erik Karlsson even there? I think he plays. I think you see him on the power play. I think we very well may see some games where the last 5 minutes of the game, there's no Erik Karlsson out there. Certainly, if I'm protecting a lead, it's they've got plenty of other guys. You have to have a pretty good blue line to sit down Erik Karlsson, even at this age and where he's at in his career. Sweden does. They got a really good.
Do they run 7D then? Like, who do you take out?
So I was going to ask that because the fourth question eventually is going to be about Finland's defense. But like, you look at just go 7D. Brodin, Anderson, Dahlin, Hedman, like all of these guys are top pairing defensemen in the NHL. Oh, like as I look at that,
quality-wise, yeah.
I think every single one of these defensemen, I could be wrong, plays on a top pairing in the NHL.
I don't think Brodin does.
Yeah, Brodin might be second pairing, but like you can just have him as a spare part that you didn't need in the first place if you want, and that probably should be their strategy.
That's an option, right? I mean, it's not like you're looking at this going, we absolutely have to get Gustav Nyquist into the game. Like there maybe is a potential to go 11-7 there. Yeah, that'll be
even
interesting
Arvidsson.
to see. Yeah. I mean, that is the thing with typically with the European teams, top heavy forwards, right? Where you've got, you look at that first line, hey, elite talent, absolutely. But we're not playing with line changes off here. So going 4 deep is where the North American teams start building that advantage. And you see it with Sweden as well. But man, that blue line, top to bottom, it might be the best one in the tournament.
Yeah, I think you go 7D if you are playing to your strengths. Put your best players on the ice, put your best players on the bench, whatever. And yeah, respectfully, a lot of those forwards, what was the thing that I said yesterday? Canada's goaltending, a question. Finland's defense, a question. Sweden's offense, a question. United States gun control, a question. So, like Sweden, the offense isn't terrible, But as you said, it's top heavy. So have your studs out there. And then, or maybe you just don't play Erik Karlsson at all. Do you leave him off the game day roster?
I don't know. I feel like
that would be so rude.
Yeah, I feel like this tournament doesn't matter enough in a big scheme where I don't think
to disgrace him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's just where I kind of land. But when we're talking about defense, I think everybody can agree that Finland's blue line is the most concerning and most troubling. But does what they have in net come close to making up for it? Like, are you worried that Finland is going to stand no chance based off of who they have on their blue line?
I would never say no chance, especially when it comes to Finland, because it just feels like, geez, in the decades that I've been doing this just as a fan, watching these best on best tournaments, you always want to write off Finland, and man, they are feisty. They always seem to be able to outkick their coverage a little bit as far as what your expectations are. The goaltending is good. The goaltending can paper over a lot of those issues on the blue line. If everybody is playing their best hockey, there's an argument that, hey, you'd rather have an elite goalie and a so-so blue line than the flip side of that, which is kind of what Canada's facing. That said, it's hockey. You never know what you're going to get with the goalie. I mean, pick whoever is the quote unquote worst goalie in this tournament. It's probably one of the Canadian guys. There's a good chance they have a 45 save shutout in them at some point. Why wouldn't they? It's hockey. You never know. And maybe that's a reason we should be less concerned about Canada. Maybe it's a reason to be even more concerned because, who knows what you're going to run into. But yeah, they will paper over a lot of those mistakes. I don't know if, again, top heavy up front. I don't know if there's enough skill there to outscore Team USA, Team Canada when push comes to shove without the goalie stealing it. That's probably the path to Finland getting to the final, to Finland potentially winning this thing is having a few steals from a goaltender. They're not in bad shape to get that. They've got the right guys for that, and then you just sort of cross your fingers and hope it happens.
Let me ask you this based off of what you just said. If you could take, as a Canadian fan, take Finland's goaltenders, but you also have to trade your defenses, would you do it?
There's no chance. I can't it's not like a keeper league where I can protect Cale Makar and
no, you got full swap. You got to take their entire blue line, and you got to take their entire.
Can I see that? Can I see the Finland defense one more time? Yeah, I don't.
And as you're looking at this,
quick, no.
As you're looking at this,
you know what? I forgot Hakanpää was on the team.
So as you're looking at this in Hakanpää, I went through the defensemen in this tournament, and Finland is the only team that most of their defensemen, or they have more bottom pairing and or not in the NHL defensemen than they do second pairing defensemen or top pairing defensemen. They have two top pairing defensemen currently in the NHL, technically,
both on the same team.
Oli Mata is playing on the first pair in Utah right now, and respectfully, no, not what that is.
That's not great. The thing with Hakanpää, I wonder, because this is how I would have done this if I had to make these teams 2 months before. I would have put injured guys on the team because, of course, if a guy's injured, you can swap him out. I said this half joking earlier this week. I would have put Carey Price as one of the Canadian goalies. There you go. Well, we got Carey Price. Oh, he's injured? Well, I guess a couple of days before the tournament, we'll just have to pick whoever's on a hot streak at the time. That would be my little dicey move. And I wonder if Finland was doing that or if that's just the guys that they have. Man, we got to open up trading for this this tournament. Every team gets to make one trade. You're telling me, the Team Canada can't. Team Canada goes to Finland and says, all our forwards that didn't make this team, how many of those guys do you need before you'll give us a UC Saros?
You know what they do? They should do a 5-card draw style thing where if you're unhappy with one of the spots on your roster, there is a pool of, let's say, X amount of players in the NHL who aren't on any of these teams right now.
Okay.
And
all right.
Spin a wheel. So if you say, all right, Canada, we don't want Jordan Binnington, we're sending him back. There is a pool of 52 goalies. What's that?
Transfer portal.
Yes, there's a pool of 52 goalies. You spin the wheel, and it's like, okay, well, you just got Jonas Korpisalo. Have fun.
Yeah, I mean,
And you
I'm
have
thinking
to-
about it. I'm
you're
thinking the
walking
fact
into
that it
that.
was 52, I was getting a little nervous because I had like visions of like Shesterkin or somebody like that.
Shesterkin's in that
coming over.
pool.
Also,
But yeah,
like,
52 of them. Yeah, that's
not to get
you might have to take
problematic,
that.
not to get problematic, but like there is a solution based off of what you just suggested of like picking an injured goalie. You could make sure one of the goalies that you did pick and you regretted was injured by the time the tournament started.
Now I got to look and see who Brad Marchand's playing like week before the tournament. Like if he's got to go in there. If they're playing Montreal, look out.
I mean,
Look out,
Don
Sam
Sweeney
Montembeault,
could send down the message to Brad Marchand, and it would not throw up like any real red flags. Be like, that's just who Brad Marchand is. He injures a goalie every once in a while.
Don Sweeney would probably
know.
get the message to him like 2 months later, though, than everybody expected him to. And then Marchand would miss the first couple of weeks of the tournament, and the tournament's only 1 week long. Nice job, Don. Good GM.
We did want to play a few games with you, like a little trivia type games based off of these rosters. So, Sean, if you could throw up the first one, which roster is this based off of the NHL team? NHL team shown. I think I may have not.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it could be Sweden.
Okay. I think I forgot maybe to remove a few of the flags, so that's my bad.
There's 2 Swedish. I'm seeing 2 Swedish flags on that. Let's guess which nation this could be. Pete is just on an absolute heater on the graphics front.
It's been a very bad week for me for hiding information. Sean, go ahead and hit the next one. Fuck. My bad.
This one looks, I don't know, it's given Finland. Am I close?
That one is definitely my bad. Fuck. Okay, third and final one. Which roster is this?
Boy, you got me stumped. I'm gonna say that's Latvia.
Okay,
Yes.
You nailed it.
That's
Nice.
actually
Okay,
Team
good.
North America. That's Team North
Oh, good.
America. Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. How funny is it that like we all had to have this new tournament to get rid of Team North America, and then like none of the teams took any of the young guys. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, Connor Bedard's begging for Team North America back, and a few guys. I guess Seth Jarvis, but other than that,
Connor Bedard finally
kids.
had an opportunity to play on a good team, and they said, "No, thank you." I feel very concerned for that young man's.
I feel bad
mental
for him
health
because
right
they
now.
made him part of the fucking promotion
I
for the
know.
tournament. They did
Front
so
and
much
center.
like we're not totally putting the jersey on him, but it was almost like, I don't know if you'll get this as a Canadian, but in the 90s, whenever they would do Olympic stuff, Wendy's would run these ads where Dave Thomas would wear like a red, white, and blue track jacket. There was no Olympic imagery on it, but you're like, yeah, I kind of know what he's doing here. They were doing that with Connor Bedard for this tournament. They're like talking the ESPN promotions with talking about best on best and how cool that is. Like they weren't saying it, but they were fucking saying it, and then he doesn't make the team.
And look, I mean, we just said Team Canada seems to want defensive guys, shutdown guys who don't score. That's Connor Bedard this year, right? That's it.
Rude.
Luke Richardson's. That's what he's turned him into. So
I'm upset that he's not on the team, but
he
he absolutely does not belong or deserve to be on that team. So it is what it is. I did want to ask you a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs because you're a Maple Leafs guy. I famously am not, but even I have to admit they kind of ruled this year. Like, where do you stand on your belief in the Maple Leafs based off of the identity switch that they've kind of seen this season?
The belief is that I said this going into the season. Nothing that happened in the regular season was really going to matter until the playoffs. They could go 82-0. So what? Lose game one of the playoffs, and we're right back to square one. Now that said, there were certain things you were hoping to see from the Craig Berube era, and I think things have played out pretty much that way. I mean, we have seen better attention to detail, better protecting leads, better defensively. Now we've also seen better goaltending, which maybe those first three things I said are just all because they've got a couple of unproven goalies who've turned out to be pretty good, pretty near the top of the ceiling of what you would have hoped for them. But yeah, so far so good. If the playoffs started today, you'd feel better about this team than you probably did some of the Sheldon Keefe versions, even though those teams were better defensively than they often got credit for. Craig Berube seems to be making progress with this group and getting through to them, but it's December. I mean, we've seen the Leafs look good in December before. Let's get to April. Let's get to the Bruins or whoever it's going to be, and then we see how it goes. I feel a little bit better about them. Certainly, I can envision scenarios where I'd feel a lot worse than I do right now if things had played out differently. But I can't imagine too many Leaf fans are getting too excited quite yet, because you can only have the football yanked away from you so many times before you start to catch on.
But their defense is the best that it's been in years. Yeah. And this is also, this should be a sense of like, if not now, when? Because Marner's in a walk year. I pray for that fucking guy that he doesn't sign back there, and that this can be the end for him, and that you two can just go your separate ways. But I'm surprised there's not much of like a kind of 2004 Red Sox feeling where it's like, we're kind of doing it for this year. We signed some aging defensemen. This is the best those players are going to be. This is the last look potentially of Mitch Marner here. Austin Matthews is going to Turkey, getting hair transplants, taking a rest, so he's going to be good for the playoffs, whatever the hell that he's doing. And the goaltending, I like, but maybe I just haven't been hurt by them, that I feel you should be way more optimistic. I love Stolarz for them. Is there not a sense of this could be it? Or, I mean, you brought up the Charlie Brown imagery of getting the football yanked away, but why is what I just said, why doesn't that connect?
Especially in a weak Eastern Conference.
Yeah. Weak Eastern Conference, I said the Bruins, but obviously the Bruins have had a tougher start to the season than you would think. You start to feel like maybe the path out of the East is a little bit clearer than it normally would be. You're right that the blue line is old. So I mean, you got 6 years of Chris Tanev, but you don't have 6 years of Chris Tanev. We know the deal with that. So with the goaltending, I think they've got two guys that, remember, neither one of these guys has ever started 40 games in a season. So I really feel like there's a sense of like, let's wait till we get to the end of the year and see if it's keeping up. The only thing I'll disagree with you on is Mitch Marner, because when these rosters came out, I realized then Mitch Marner's going to get 4 points in the gold medal game against Team USA, and everybody's going to go, he's figured it out. He's playoff Mitch all of a sudden.
That's what I said yesterday.
They're going to give him $13.5 million the next day for 8 years.
He's going to be the darling of this tournament, and every Canadian market is going to say, we need this guy, including the Canadian market that is Toronto. I cannot wait.
Yeah, same here. Really, really excited about that.
The Leafs were surprisingly good without Austin Matthews. I think 7-2 without him in the lineup. Brought up some hot take artists, but like at this point in time, who do you think is the Toronto Maple Leafs' single most important player to their success?
I mean, it's still Austin Matthews. It's not Mitch Marner. It's the blue line's been a bit more of a collective effort. I hesitated there because part of me wanted to say whoever the starting goalie is on that night is actually the most important, but that's probably true for every team. And I'm not sure when you've got a 1 and 1A like they have now that you can pick either guy, say, this guy's the most important when the other guy could come in and maybe do just as well. I still think it's still the Austin Matthews team, and he's still one of the 5 best players in the world, and quite possibly the best player the team has ever had, certainly in my lifetime. So, nice to see them have the good record and play the good defense and all of those things when he's not around. But as far as, you talk about this being the year, there's not a scenario where this is the year that doesn't involve the Austin Matthews monster playoff, like the Connor McDavid style. This guy's in the Conn Smythe conversation playoff run that, to put it mildly, has not happened yet. That has to happen from he's still the guy.
Personally argue it's Yanni Hakanpää, and I think that after we see the Four Nations tournament, that would be even better than Marner going off and breaking people's brains. If Hakanpää is like a stout top pairing guy, and then every time there's any struggles with the Leafs, why isn't this guy in the lineup? What's Berube doing?
That could be it. I mean, he's out there every time, especially after he injures Matthews and Marner in the Four Nations tournament.
Yes.
Oh,
Come
God,
back and
that would rock.
He'll be right there. Yep.
Who's your
Ryan
second
Reeves
favorite?
will pick him up at the airport.
Yes. Who's your second favorite team in this tournament? Because we're all USA, and then we are clearly Finland number 2 because it's so fun.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you gotta Finland's the one team that we can all kind of root for. They've never won any of these things. They're kind of like the Winnipeg Jets of international hockey, where you're like, you don't have to like them, but I feel like nobody's like anybody but Finland.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a serious personality red flag if I ever came across somebody who was like, fuck Finland. So I think that's probably fair. Yeah. Sean, I think
that would be like somebody's like, oh damn, I don't need to see Teemu Selanne being happy. That's I can't handle that.
After the movie that he came out with that went to Amazon Prime, I think I'd like to see Teemu Selanne.
You definitely watched that, right?
I mean, it's this afternoon's scheduled matinee.
So, see, I would think that you would have been right on that.
I don't know if you guys are in the loop, but like me and movies, it tends to be a bit of a delayed reaction. There's a bit of a backlog, so I'm not as pop culture savvy as other podcast hosts out there.
Have you ever seen There Will Be Blood?
I you know what? I saw that like a month ago.
Just
to give you a sense
of
yeah. That one finally came up in the rotation. So that was good, and it was very exciting to me because I was like. I was like, it's the milkshake scene. I know this. This is the like it's and I'd actually a month before watched Gangs of New York, and I thought Gangs of New York was the milkshake movie, and so I was very disappointed when I made it all the way through and nobody yelled about milkshakes, but it paid off with the with There Will Be Blood. So
in fairness,
for you,
if you were to guess which Daniel Day-Lewis movie, there's one called Gangs of New York and one is called There Will Be Blood. You would not think There Will Be Blood, especially with where it's set and when it's set.
I promise you, at no point during that movie was I like, you know what? Somebody needs to bring up milkshakes. Like, I really feel
when
like
will milkshakes be invoked?
Yeah, like Chekhov's milkshake is just hanging over this entire plot. It's got to come into play. But
that movie is so historically inaccurate. Famously, the voice and everything that Daniel Day-Lewis did completely made up. Nothing sounded, there was not one human that sounded anything like that. And he was just like, I'm making a choice. I'm going for it. Paul Thomas Anderson is definitely cool with this. All that stuff was made up. I looked up after I saw it, I think the first time I was like, were there milkshakes back then?
Were they invented by this time?
There were.
Okay.
Oddly. Very oddly.
Correct. Before we get you out of here, somebody did leave a super chat that was like very specific to you. KPG says, "Hey Sean, young offender Joe Bowen rap says hello."
Oh hell yeah! Yes, absolutely. That's I'm assuming this maybe is actual young offender, but the Joe Bowen rap, 1993, I want to say. It was this was a novelty rap song about Joe Bowen that came out. It was on the Fan 1430 back then, I think it was. They played it. They sold it for charity. I wrote a post about it, and I tracked down the guy who was the rapper who had written it, and it's fantastic. It's an absolute banger. I think it was. I put it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's still there. Everybody check it out. This is I'll, as my kids sometimes say, you'll notice Eminem, Drake, Kendrick, go down the list. None of them are saying a thing about young offender. They don't have the nerve. They don't want that smoke. Young offender, Joe Bowen rap.
So that story sounds like something that you would do, which is why I thought that you would have seen that terrible Teemu Selanne movie the second it came out.
I mean, again, it's we're running on about a 15-year delay on pop culture references. So I'll get back to you. Like, don't worry,
we'll have you on then.
Be a little
I
grayer,
implore you to watch that movie.
Season 17 of What Chaos will feature the Down Goes Brown breakdown of the movie that I can't even. What's it called? The Enforcer, the
Minor Leaguer,
the Minor Leaguer. Such a bad movie. If anyone wants to check out our review with Katie Nolan, it was just 4 people who were deeply unhappy talking about the worst thing they've ever seen in their life. But this was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
All right. Right on, guys. Thanks for having me.
He's the best, Sean McIndoe. You can read him in The Athletic. Absolute legend. Good Four Nations talk.
Yeah.
Good Four Nations talk. I think that the best point he raised was that we kind of know what people are going to say when USA or Canada loses. And the other side of that is when USA or Canada wins, they'll be praised for the same thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of the nature of the sport. And it's tough. It's tough when you like see that happen before it happens.
Yeah.
When you're like, this is the most predictable outcome. Do we want to do the Grinch mode?
Yes. This is one of the more interesting stories of the season. Sorry, I just have one more comment that I need to put in the rundown about it because there's a lot of comments that we got. Saginaw Spirit forward and projected top 5 pick Michael Misa has been suspended 1 game by the OHL for shooting objects out of the playing surface. That is a rule. You're not allowed to do it. But as we look at the video, thank you, Sean. This was a teddy bear toss. It was a teddy bear toss at their game in Sarnia where Sting fans were supposed to throw teddy bears to be donated onto the ice. And they did this after, I believe, the Sting's first goal. That's how these things typically go. And young Michael Misa shot them back into the crowd. So he was suspended 1 game because you're not allowed to shoot things off the ice. Incredible to see a player was suspended for that. And then looking up, what was that? I don't want someone throwing things off the ice and shooting things off the ice. What was it? It was just a party of teddy bears, and he was pissed, and he wanted to end it. I will remind you, this is a projected top 5 pick in the NHL draft.
Misa unsportsmanlike, Jar Jar Binks.
I have seen that movie. That's the only Star Wars movie I've seen. I've seen it twice. Misa called Michael Misa.
And that's talking to teddy bear. No, yeah, I mean, this is the latest in what is becoming a longer than should be list of OHL suspensions.
People get so mad when they see why the OHL suspended somebody.
Woke.
Soft, woke. You can't even shoot teddy bears anymore.
Christmas is canceled because of woke. Where do you land? Like, is a suspension worthy of a guy being like clearly not good behavior? I think we can say.
Terrible behavior. I love that he did it. Has to be suspended for it.
Really?
Being suspended for it makes it even better. Draft stonks up for me.
I don't think that he has to be suspended for it. I think that giving him the game misconduct, because I believe he got a game misconduct, right? I think the tweet from the OHL said that he was given a game misconduct for shooting things into the crowd. I get that. I'm sure it's like a letter of the law kind of thing where it's in the rule book. If you shoot back into the crowd intentionally, you're out for the rest of the game. Fine. Suspending a guy for that, it seems a little crazy to me.
Did get a game misconduct.
Okay.
It's better
fine.
for street cred. It's better. It's better for the story. This guy famously is a top 5 projected pick. Someone replied to one of our we posted the video, and I'll get through some of the responses because there were a lot of comments on it. One of them was, Buddy just destroyed his chances of first overall. Now he's in Shane Wright territory. Not for me. This guy has great numbers in the OHL. I believe he's playing mostly left wing. 25, 24, and 49 in 25 games. That's a monster performance, although OHL, it's kind of easy to go off if you're a really good player. He's 6'1", 185 pounds. His stonks for me, in the day and age of, we need those Florida Panthers type guys, to the moon, baby. I'm getting a OHL jersey.
Respectfully speaking, the list of things that we've known general managers to overlook for talent and young players, you think that a NHL general manager is going to be like, absolutely blacklisted this person, he cannot be on our team because he flung a teddy bear into a crowd?
If anything, it's the other thing, though. What I was just saying, like, where where do we get a Sam Bennett?
A Matthew Tkachuk.
Where's our Matthew Tkachuk?
Like,
we
this
want
guy
some of
hates
those
teddy
guys.
bears.
This guy does not like losing.
Yes.
That type of shit.
That's so true.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do
That's so
Tankathon. Sean, as we're doing that, give us your thoughts on this.
Well, what I was going to say is I saw someone mention this on Twitter, like potential spin zone is that he was doing it so people had more opportunities to throw bears onto the ice.
That is absolutely not what he was doing. You see the stink that he was putting on some of those
I know.
teddy bears shot back into crowd?
But that
Absolutely
would be,
not.
but I mean, potentially if that was his intent, good guy.
Okay, top 6 right now in the NHL draft. You got Chicago Blackhawks, Nashville Predators, Montreal Canadiens, San Jose Sharks, Ottawa Senators, and Anaheim Ducks. Is there a team on that list that stands out to you as a should make sure, even if they take them a pick or two early, make sure they get that kind of competitive nature in their room? Because I'll tell you what, it starts at the top. Blackhawks.
I was just gonna say
Bedard, this
the
little
pissiest line in the NHL. That would rock.
Oh yeah,
I did want to talk.
Don't fuck with them.
Connor Bedard is like ramping up his pissiness, and I
like it. You don't like it, but I like
need
it.
like a little, like 15% less of it. But I also understand it, because hockey is literally all that Connor Bedard. I guess sports in general, all Connor Bedard, we know him to care about.
Yeah,
so I can imagine that, like, losing all the time and not being productive and not producing to what he holds himself to, that weighs on Connor Bedard, and he's having a hard time right now.
Natalie sends a super chat that says he went Grinch mode. Whoa, a big super chat.
That's a big super
wow,
chat.
Natalie, you are the
Natalie
absolute
comes
best.
in here and throws grenades.
Like every once in a while, she's just on the table.
We appreciate you. What other teams? Chicago, Nashville, Montreal, San Jose, Ottawa. I mean, I would love Kachuk and kind of Kachuk's America type player.
Yes. I do want to get into more of the comments, because the comments are incredible.
Yes, other comments include the gall of this young man to shoot a teddy bear back into the crowd. Perhaps the OHL should see if the teddy bear toss is something needed going forward, as to prevent acts like this and the delays taken. If successful, hot dog nights are the next to go. # clown show. I have no idea whether that was snarky or what.
I thought it was serious until I heard the hot dog part, and then I think it's satirical.
Another one.
The reevaluating whether the teddy bear toss is a good idea based off of one player.
Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't get why people are bitching about this so hard, says another person on Twitter. The teddy bear toss is there for awareness, and obviously he doesn't care. People are going to call me soft, but I don't care. I think he deserves more than one game, because that is incredibly disrespectful to people.
That one took me on a ride.
Yeah.
Because the beginning was like, I could not care less about this. Get this guy out of the fucking league.
Yeah, there's a lot of I don't care, or people shouldn't care, and it seems like that person cares.
I like it's disrespectful to people.
Yeah.
Nikita Zadorov had a eye-roll inducing one about Lucas Raymond the other day. Did you see that?
Yep.
Slashed him on the hand, and Lucas Raymond goes like that after. And after the game, Zadorov was like, it was disrespectful.
Get that out of the game.
He said, we want to get that out of the game.
Once Zadorov retires, he's going to become like the NHL's ambassador for respect.
Yes.
I just loved like doing something dirty, and then someone gets upset, like tries to show the ref that someone did something dirty. He was like, can't have that shit. We don't snitch in this league.
Also,
it's like, yeah, I slashed him, but he shouldn't
make a whole big deal about it.
It's also possible that when he saw Lucas Raymond going like this, he thought that Lucas Raymond was like doing some of that dancing. Nikita Zadorov does not like dancing. He wants that out of the game.
We also got a lucky he's not kicked off the team comment.
This was a quote tweet and a response. Someone was busy with lucky he's not kicked off the team. If this guy got kicked off the team, I would need daily coverage of him.
Yes.
Terrell Owens doing sit-ups on the front lawn style. I want to know where this guy is. Michael Misa, my king, every minute. Somebody put the definition of deterrent, including the pronunciation. Deterrent, something that prevents, checks, or suppresses. Automatic one-game ban for shooting an object into the crowd is a long-standing #OHL policy. Learn it, live it, love it, and have a good laugh about it. I'm down with most of that except for learn it. You don't need to love it. You don't need to just experience it. You know you're probably going to get suspended for it. You do it. Michael Misa, you are the man.
I did learn it. I guess now I
Yeah, a lot of people
Now
learned
I
it.
know that it's an automatic one-game ban. So I guess
My thing is
is
like,
what it is.
if he was actually upset about the teddy bear toss, like throwing them back into the crowd is such a like literally losing way to fight that battle, because you are going to get outnumbered. Like you're not getting them off the ice.
You're just
And
delaying
you're
it even
picking up
more.
somebody's sword and giving it back to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if anything, just start like beating the shit out of the teddy. Like if you're trying to get a point across,
Well,
destroy the teddy bear.
I don't know if I could get behind
No.
violence towards teddy bears.
Like it would be unacceptable, but I'm just saying from his perspective, if he's trying to prove a point, you tossing a few into the crowd that basically looked like it required like fan footage for people to actually have proof of, like, I don't think you're really proving any points there.
Another thing I'll note on Michael Misa, much like Connor Bedard, exceptional player status.
Oh, that's huge. That's not for everybody.
They
it's
don't
only
just
for the exceptional.
They don't just dole that out. So this guy, I mean, he's my number one. I love him. I want to get him on the show. I don't know if
kill to have him on the Buffalo Sabres.
So the Sabres
somebody
could use
that comes in and is just like one of my favorite memories from the Sabres is when Jack Eichel scored while the Leafs were there and he like punched the glass at the Leafs fans. Like, I want this guy. Fuck the other players. I want this guy to hate anybody that's not behind the Buffalo Sabres.
All right, I think they were all kind of landing in the same spot here. We love this guy.
Yeah.
And having it be part of his lore when like nobody really got hurt, and like having this be the part of the Michael Misa story is awesome.
Yes.
And it's so important to me. You seemed anti-suspension. I was so pro-suspension on this because I need that for the lore's sake. Like, you hear he got suspended for shooting teddy bears into the crowd. Oh yeah.
I mean, I was anti-suspension when I thought that it was a decision, like supplemental discipline. It is a accompaniment to the OHL rule that you automatically get a 1-game ban and a game misconduct.
Only problem I have with suspension is if he learns something. Like if he's like, you know what, that behavior was unacceptable.
Don't change it. Don't change it.
Then I have a problem with
there
it.
There better not be an old Misa.
Yeah, like
we don't want that to say, hey, that was the old Misa.
This needs to be his Joker moment. Like he needs to be a villain from now on.
I was gonna say, like, how do you think he responds to this? Because there is one of two options. He could say, "Oops, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. It was the heat of the moment." Or he could do the NFL player thing of the guy who just almost killed Trevor Lawrence, which was don't regret a thing. I'm literally becoming the Joker. I'm your new villain.
This guy's first game in Boston. I'm going on the glass warm-ups.
2025 or maybe later on, but guess the jersey competition. Keep this locked in because
someone's
there's a
getting
Misa jersey.
At least somebody
jersey coming.
is getting a Misa. And I'll also say this is kind of Marchandish behavior, endearing. Remember, I believe it was, Tristan Jarry was giving a fan a puck. Remember? He was like flipping a puck. Marchand just skates by and just like knocks it down, takes the puck away.
Respect it. And also someone mentioned a Shane Wright thing. Like if I honestly would kind of like this to hurt his draft stock, because if we get a moment of him like staring down some GM for passing on him,
well,
like really
because of the teddy bears, I'll fucking show you.
I mean, if he turns out to be an exceptional player in the NHL level, and like you can make the argument that 2 or 3 teams passed on him because he once launched a teddy bear, perhaps one of the funniest hindsight things in hockey history.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now no matter what, if this guy doesn't go first overall, we get to say, well, why'd you pass on him? Was it the teddy bear thing? And we already said, was it the teddy bear thing? That's what the thought that's out there. That's what everyone's going to think. So you better not pass on this guy and let him be good. This guy is now firmly in Gunnar Wolffontaine territory.
I just hope that this kid is like a good kid. Like, because if this is just like a look into him just being a complete shithead, then it's going to ruin it. But I hope he's just like had a tough moment and he's like generally a good person with a little bit of an edge.
Somebody said he should start embracing the teddy bear imagery. Famously, I have a shacket that makes me look like a teddy bear. Should he go to the draft all kind of like Sherpa'd out?
Instead of the Joker, he goes full Batman and embraces his biggest enemy, his biggest fear, teddy bears.
This is Blackhawks, get the first pick. Draft Michael Misa. Do the right thing. Do the right thing for America.
Well, no, I don't think we want the Blackhawks to get like the 3rd pick so he can end up on the Blackhawks and we get the narrative.
Yes, that's true. We don't want him to go number 1 overall. He is he's number 1 on our board.
He's number 3 on the board, number 1 in our hearts.
No, but he's number 1 on our, like we're pounding the table. Yeah. We're saying, don't you pass on him so we can act spurned. He needs to be spurned. Someone's got to spurn him. Good Michael Misa talk. We're in. Good. Stonks up. We all agree. Stonks very up. Let's do a slate grade on Thursday, December 5th. There are 9 games in the United States and Canada kicking off 7 p.m. The Jets visiting the Sabres, and boy...
Oh, you want to talk about must win.
I don't like saying the Sabres better fucking get points out of this game against the Jets, but we are on response watch, buddy.
Can't lose 5 in a row. That can't happen.
You are such assholes right now that you need to get points against the Jets.
Eric Comrie Bowl, by the way.
Respectfully. Predators.
I wasn't talking about the Sabres, so I'm not talking.
I respect that.
Oh, I love that Pete abstains.
Mm-hmm.
Pete is a conscientious
objector.
Yeah, you object to the Sabres talk. Predators at Canadians at 7 p.m. Eastern in the United States. That, of course, is a Shea Weber Bowl. Yes, a PK Subban Bowl.
Ooh, a Kostitsyn Bowl.
An Andre Kostitsyn Bowl. Very good. Red Wings at the Senators. That is a Daniel Alfredson Bowl.
A Vladimir Tarasenko Bowl.
Vladimir Tarasenko Bowl. Very good. It's an Alex DeBrincat Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's an Alex DeBrincat Bowl. 7 p.m. Eastern. Sharks at the Lightning. Anthony Duclair Bowl.
I was going to say, I feel like we have, like, early on kind of swore off the Anthony Duclair Bowl because it's a little bit of a cheat mode or cheat, but like this is, in my mind, the most Anthony Duclair Bowl.
Well,
like
yeah,
Sharks Lightning.
It's the two most recent teams that we
fair enough.
that we acknowledge.
Yeah.
By the way, if we could, do we have any updates on the rescue mission? Did we ever send anybody to get Anthony Duclair off the island?
I mean,
I don't like him on that team.
He's not playing right now, right?
It's such a waste. Yeah, I don't think that he's in the lineup.
Yeah, I think he's still hurt.
I could be wrong because I'll tell you what team I have not watched much of this season.
No.
He is
Panthers
not in
at the Flyers at 7 p.m. Eastern. That is, what's a good Panthers-Flyers crossover?
Can that be our hockey reference one?
Yeah, let's do that. For the Panthers and Flyers. Oh, duh. But it's also cheat Cody.
What?
The most famous would be Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he's
an Anthony
Cody.
Duclair.
A good one, though, is Claude Giroux. A very obvious one. Duh, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
I feel like a guy that you bring up all the time. John Van Beesbrook.
John Van Beesbrook. So I did not know that John Van Beesbrook was ever a Flyer because in the heyday of John Van Beesbrook, they had Ron Hextall and they had Garth Snow. So
Owen Tippett.
A Derek Brassard Bowl. A Nick Boynton Bowl. What's that?
Nick Cousins.
Oh, yeah. A Radko Gudas Bowl.
Oh, Keith Yandel.
True. Keith Yandel Bowl. Scott Mellenby Bowl.
Anthony
a Mike Stillinger Bowl.
Anthony Stolars.
Oh, how about, here's a good one. Here's a really good one. A Dennis Seidenberg Bowl.
Wow.
That's all pre-Boston.
This
Dennis
is like
Seidenberg.
the goalies that have played for these two teams are all in some way notable, I would say. Sergei Bobrovsky, Sean Burke, Alex Lyon, Anthony Stolars, and John Van Beesbrook.
It's a good Anthony Stolars Bowl. That was I'll be honest, I really forgot that Anthony Stolars played for the Flyers, and Anthony Stolars played for the Flyers for like 3 seasons. So bad job on my part. Avalanche at the Hurricanes, 7 p.m. Eastern.
He only played 19 games for the Flyers.
Oh,
he played less for the Flyers in those 3 years than he has for the Panthers in 1.
Anthony Stolars had a lot of up and downs, like a fringe NHL-ish guy. Avalanche and Hurricanes at 7 p.m. Eastern. You have read that right if you're looking at the slate, by the way. I have said 6 games. All of them are at 7 p.m.
I tried to warn you guys. Behavior. The slate is insane.
Ridiculous.
Structure.
A structure for what is the opposite of For the Ages?
For the pages, because we ripped them out of the book, crumpled them up, and threw them in the trash.
Pete, you're fucking killing it, buddy. Kraken at Islanders, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That is a Jordan Eberle Bowl, folks.
I was going to say, there's not a whole lot for that one, but
that's a Jordan Eberle
We didn't do Avalanche Hurricanes.
Oh, Avalanche Hurricanes would be let me think.
I'm having a hard time.
Same.
Let's see. Are you looking it up, Sean?
Yeah.
Do a numbers crunch. Avalanche and Hurricanes. I don't feel like there's like a ton of crossover there.
The most notable player. Oh boy, it is not. Sandis Ozelinch, yeah. Paul Stastny.
Oh, Paul Stastny.
Not a very notable. Ian Cole, our guy. Ian Cole.
Yeah,
that's brother.
Oh, I know.
Hitting us with an our guy on Ian Cole.
I mean, you love irrelevant. I mean, I feel like we each love
I say his name
irrelevant.
a lot, but it's never in an our guy sense.
I know.
Okay, I think I would have known. I would not have known that this was a J.S. Jaguar Bowl.
Oh, a Radim Verbata.
I would know that it was a John Michael Lyles Bowl.
John Michael Lyles, like, sneaky got around.
Yes, definitely.
Calvin DeHaan.
It's a Brian Lawton Bowl. How about Brian Lawton?
Mm-hmm.
The Radim Verbata is my favorite. Sean Walker.
Yep, a Sean Walker Bowl. I should have been able to get
right.
that. A Stefan Yell Bowl. That's a good one. How about a
Andrei Kovalenko?
Yeah, the goalie's not interesting.
Not at all.
Very. Yeah, I think Sandis Ozolinsh was the.
That's the top player that they list as for the.
That's the leader,
players.
huh?
Yeah.
Okay, not bad.
I'm putting that game, by the way, on highest potential return of the night.
Avalanche.
I could also
spirits raised.
I could also see the Hurricanes just
absolutely
the fuck out of them.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I would assume that Wedgwood is in net tonight.
I don't know. He played most of that last game.
That is true,
right? But
he's probably going to play most of tonight's game even if they go with Georgiev.
He should be the guy. Kraken at Islanders, 7:30 p.m. As we've discussed, that's a Jordan Eberle Bowl. The Blues at the Flames. Blues and Flames,
aesthetically very pleasing.
Yes,
that's a very
red on blue with the shared color being yellow.
That's the kind of I guess like slightly surprising bowl. Blues have turned it around. They're looking pretty good. Flames have been slightly surprising all year long.
The Blues and the Flames, is that a Fred Brathwaite bowl? Let's see if that's a Fred Brathwaite bowl. Let's see.
Wedgwood confirmed starting tonight.
Oh, it's an Al McInnes bowl. It's a Brett Hull bowl. It's a Doug. Some big names: Phil Housley, Doug Gilmour, Curtis Joseph.
Yeah, wow.
I'm gonna go to goalies to see if I sniped Fred. Oh, it's a Fred Brathwaite bowl. What do y'all know about Fred Brathwaite?
Great pull.
Oh, a Grant Fuhr bowl.
Avalanche Hurricanes, the Natural Disaster Bowl. Pretty good.
Yep.
Fred Brathwaite.
Although sometimes avalanches are not natural disasters.
Sometimes they're man-made
disasters
for safety.
Yeah, where do we classify avalanche?
Although if you looked at certain corners of Facebook, hurricanes are planned too.
I just sent Fred Brathwaite's Atlanta Thrashers headshot in our group chat. What an absolute legend. Also, respectfully, would have been a jersey option for Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Fred Brathwaite. Just I believe I grew up with, I was told it was Fred Brathwaite's like nephew or something. Like his last name was Brathwaite, and we were told he was related to Fred Brathwaite, and I thought that he was the coolest kid in school just because I was like, yo, a fringe NHL goalie is kind of related to somebody I know. Absolutely love that. So that was a good pull on Fred Brathwaite. Blue Jackets at Oilers, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's the same time as the Blues and the Flames.
Because of course it is.
Yes.
No 10 p.m.
Horrible
Crazy
structure. Blue Jackets and Oilers is going to rock. I'm going to love that game because it's two teams that I love very much. Oilers need some points after, Tuesday's fiasco. Blue Jackets in the midst of a very difficult West Coast Canadian swing. Sean, what do you got for us?
It is a Yaroslav Spacek Bowl.
What?
3 seasons for the Blue Jackets and 1 for the Edmonton Oilers.
Let's do for the Blue Jackets.
And a Ray Whitney Bowl.
Okay, that's a good one. It's a Ron Tugnutt Bowl. It's a, let's see. I want to find a good one. It's a Rafi Torres Bowl.
Yaroslav Spacek gets me fired up, to be honest.
Oh, you want to know something amazing? It's a Fred Brathwaite Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Double Brathwaite.
Double Brathwaite Bowl? Nice.
What's Fred Brathwaite up to? Let's get that guy.
This is a great show to end the week.
It's an Anson Carter Bowl.
By the way, that's Slate. I think we can all drum roll, please.
I think I'm going to do 2 thumbs, 2 A minuses down.
This might be, I truly believe this might be the worst Slate week since we've started doing the show.
Wake up, babe. It's Slate week. Bad Slate week. Not good. Trivia tidbit says Cone Zone. Ray Whitney was a stick boy for the 80s Oilers as a kid. Not bad. Very good job, everybody who contributed. Very fun week of shows. We're going to be back next week with a guest who is on Team Sweden. Nobody knows who it is.
Guess who?
Guess who? I think that you will join the masses of people who love
Sean,
this
you
guest.
want to throw up my Guess That Team Sweden graphic? Let's see if this player is designated with Team Sweden. He is not. I did not accidentally put the Swedish flag next to this player. So
but it is a he.
So
go ahead and guess.
Not getting a Wild or a Devil.
Do you want to guess who those players? No, never mind. That's a stupid. I know. Never mind. I don't know.
Good show.
I was trying to guess which players those were based off of like the flags but it's a tough guess.
It is a tough guess. It's a tough game. No, Sweden on Devils. That's Jacob Markstrom.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And let's see who's on. Is it Brodin?
No, this would be Brodin.
That would be Brodin. Yeah.
Who's the other? Is it?
Oh,
Erik
so that's a forward.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Erik Karlsson?
That would. Yep. It sure is.
Wow. Okay. Good job, everybody. We will talk to you next week. We love you. Make sure you are subscribed. Pete, could you tell everybody to press the button?
Please hit the like button right below the video player. That helps drive our likes up. We love that. We also love when you pummel that subscribe button. Please, when we hit 10,000 subscribers, you will see me in the most finest quality of squirrel costumes. That will happen very soon after we hit 10,000 subscribers. We're nearing it, so please help us out. And if you're listening on audio, go to YouTube, hit that, but also whatever platform you listen on, Spotify, Apple, hit the 5-star review button and let us know what you think of the show. We love you.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.